Hi, I'm Paul Brodie, back in the shop here. There's a man behind the camera. You've all heard his name before. It's Mitch. Apparently, looking through the comments, he's doing a really good job. There's been quite a few good comments on Mitch. We are here. We're working on the Tiger Cub today. This is what we did last time. We made a seat base. It's still on the mold. We have to take it off. That's today's job. And we have a little bit of an issue here. When I molded this, can you see how this comes in? And there's also one here. We have to cut that off. Otherwise, the mold is not going to separate and come out. These are in the way. So that's one of the first things we're going to do. We're going to do that outside because it's going to be a little bit messy. How to cut that out. When I was learning how to do fiberglass many years ago, I had one of these when I had to cut. And I used to call this a saber saw. Who remembers a saber saw? Apparently now, you can even look at the label, it's a jigsaw. So I'm sure there'll be comments. Who knows it as a saber saw and a jigsaw? I talked to Mitch. He said that his father used to call it a saber saw, but apparently now it's a jigsaw. All good word semantics, right? So if you use a jigsaw and the blade's going back and forth, it kind of makes a rough cut. That's not very good. So what I learned years later was that you get a diamond wheel. This is a diamond wheel. It's pretty smooth, but it cuts really nicely. So we're going to take this outside. I'm going to put on a paper suit because there's going to be dust everywhere. I'm even going to wear a mask. I know there's been comments on me not wearing a mask, but I will be safety today. Okay, let's go outside and do some cutting. There we go. I left a little bit there. You see that little bit there where it comes in? I need to just take that out, and also this piece right here. Our next job here is to separate the mold from the part. So that's where a hammer comes in. It's a plastic hammer, rubber hammer, whatever you call it. And if you hit the mold, sometimes you can hear when it separates. So let's just see what happens here. Okay, so it's hard to tell if that works, but now what we can do is to start to hit the part, and that's where it's an advantageous to have this extra here on the part, because you can hit that. Well used, you can tell. Getting warm in here. So you can see here, if I press, can you see the separation happening? See it pulling? So it's not like it's stuck everywhere, but as the resin and the cloth hardens up, it shrinks a little bit. So it's putting pressure on the mold. The handle is off. Okay, see here, I got a Delrin wedge. And you can you see the space in there now? So I need to put a series of wedges around, and that's going to help it to pop. It's pretty tough stuff, even though it's only a few layers. Okay. Working with fiberglass is not always easy, and sometimes the molds pop off really nicely, and sometimes they fight you. If I damage the mold, it doesn't matter because it's a one-off. Can you see what's happening? Something's happening. Definitely not just separating real. Oh, I think it's coming out. There. Okay, so now you get to see inside. So it did separate. It turned out quite well. And I'm looking for air bubbles, and I don't see air bubbles. I think it turned out quite well. So what we're going to do now is to go outside. We're going to use the diamond wheel. We're going to trim. And then after that, we'll go to the belt sander and we'll sand it smooth. And then we'll put it up on the bike. And we're going to make a shape for the seat, because that's what the upholsterer is going to get us his information. Then he knows exactly what I want. If you can hear me, I have a brand new belt. here's what the seat pan looks like. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a couple little marks there, whereas as I pulled it out of the mold, it got a little tension on it and made a couple little marks. But aside from that, I don't see any air bubbles at all. I think it turned out quite well. So we're going to work on the shape now. This is what I got. I got this off the internet. It's a desert sled, a Triumph 500 maybe a 650, and it was used for racing in the desert. So I like the little hump at the back, and it also angles down just a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take some aluminum welding rod. We're going to put this onto the bike, and then we can look at the shape of the seat in conjunction with the shape of the tank, because they need to, well, not match, but I would say the word is complement each other. It's two different shapes, but they need to blend and work with each other. So that's what we're going to do now, is work on a shape. We don't have to fill it all in, but it's going to give the upholsterer a really good idea of what I want. All right, I have welding rod. It's 6061, not that that matters. And I'm going to put one layer, one piece of rod right on the edge around like that, and then we'll put it on the bike, and then we'll start to build it up. It's just easier to do it right here, I figure. So I want to, oh yeah, this bends a little better than the other stuff. It doesn't kink. The other stuff wanted to kink. That was the 1100 rod. So this is a little better. Yeah, I'm glad I switched rods. So here we go. This is the start. So I'll put this on like this, and then I can pop it off easy. I just put a knife under there, it'll pop right off. I put a little spacer under here, about 1/8 of an inch, just to raise it up a little bit, to get a little extra room in here for the upholsterer. I kind of expected I would have to do something like that, so it's fine. And I'm going to glue this down onto that. Ooh, look at that. There's a little bit of room. I like that space because the whatever goes over there, the naugahyde, it wraps around, and then you're left with just a little space there. And if you look from the back, it's nice and even, all coming around there. So I like the lines. The lines look quite nice there. So we're going to keep on going. So I might put a loop over here to start with. And then this will come in just with a thumb. Well, we have to start somewhere, so let's start here. If I don't like this, we'll take it down and start again. And I don't know if this needs to angle or not. I think maybe it does, but not sure right now. And this could probably, it could bend down a little bit too, like that. Just get a little bit of a little bit of a contour in the seat as well. See, I think that's about what I want, like that. I'm going to put a few more pieces over here just to kind of tie that in. So I think this has to be higher. So I'm going to make another hoop, and then that'll attach onto here. I think it has to angle a bit as well. That's kind of what my mind is seeing there. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm going to put some strips up here. And we'll just see how that looks. So it's got a little hump to it right there, just not a huge hump, just a little one. I'm happy with that. How I bend. There we go. There we go. That's our episode for today. I think you can see what's going on here. I hope it's pretty easy to see what's happening. Thank you for spending time in the shop here. Mitch and I like coffee. If you buy us coffee, it's much appreciated. If you give us a thumbs up, appreciate that too. Subscribe. You take care. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.